everyone, in this video you're going to find out all about the improved ways of getting your data into Dynatrace more easily, but instead of me walking you through it, I brought along the expert, a very special guest, the man who built the whole thing. Dieter, over to you.
Hi Adam, thanks for the introduction. So yeah, I'm Solution Experience Lead for Observability in Dynatrace, and I'm currently focusing on making really a great experience to onboard our users to get data in so you can get from zero to answers really in minutes, right? And therefore, I also have prepared a demo that I'll walk you through. All right, then let's go and share my screen. Here we go. So you see here on VS Code, and I provide here a small demo app. It's called the Schnitzel app, right? So it's a Python app with 4 services. And if you can see here, here is the Schnitzel app. I hope you all know schnitzels. It's a really good dish in Austria, really yummy, so I love it. And of course, we love to order it also, and orders going through. But you see, there are unfortunately some orders failing once in a while. And of course, the customers will be really, really bad. And now the big question is, why is it failing, right? And we want to really figure it out quickly how and why it fails, right? So, and that's why we now introduced a new way on how we onboard our customers. And let me show you in the past. So in the past, we really had this as a launch pad. And it's a little bit like, well, you still need to look into docs, how to onboard OTel, for example, or figure out where your data actually lands. And now we introduced this new experience called the QuickStart app. So after you start a new Dynatrace environment, you will be presented with that, and it will really make it easy for you to get data in and onboard your data. So you can see here, we got all the important technologies covered: OTel, Kubernetes, the hyperscalers, Windows and Linux hosts, and you have a clear message here to add your data, right? So let's actually go ahead and do that. And you see there is this auto-discovery, which is our recommended way. And clicking here now, I just get presented this one command line here, right? It already detects that I'm running on Mac Linux, so I copy this. And I now switch to my command line. And in the command line, I just paste this command. And it's detecting here again, I'm on Darwin ARM64. So I go ahead and install the DT Wiz installer. And it's already starting to analyze my system, right? So, so it's checking what's actually on my local machine, but it's also checking what are you connected to. So you see here that we have Mac OS ARM64. We have Kubernetes, for example, connected through the kubectl. We have AWS, Azure, GCP, all those connected. So we are using the CLIs, which are on your local machine already, to help you onboarding. So you have really zero config. It's just like enter, click to get your stuff running. And here are the recommendations. And we go ahead now and say, well, we want to do the first thing and monitor this machine that I'm running on, where we have our Schnitzel service with OTel. So let's go ahead. I'll click 1 here. And when I click 1 here, it's also checking and scanning what's available, what projects do you have on your machine. And you see I actually have a couple of them. And you see the first one here is the Schnitzel. I'll select 1 before I press enter, because now all the fun onboarding stuff starts. I click here the start watch, so we see how long it takes to really onboard the data and see the first data. So I click 1, it's just telling me what it's going configuration, what it will do, and also what for the auto-instrumentation it will do, and I click enter. And you see, I don't need to go to documentation. I don't need to configure anything. It's just running, telling me, giving me feedback what it's actually doing. It's even stopping the processes where the Python app is running and then restarting it. So it's really more or less magic, right? You don't need to do anything to really get your ingested. We are currently supporting Python, Node.js, and Java, and extending it time by time. So you can see it stopped. It's installing the project dependency. It's installing the hotel packages. It also downloaded before the latest version of the hotel collector. And it's now restarted the services, looking it up again. And you can even see here localhost 8080. That's actually where our Schnitzel runs. And we can create some load also. So we do that. Also, a load generator is running as well. And it will then pick up those informations. So we see here, it's now watching for new data. Also mentioning here that we should generate some load, and we see already some logs coming in. So we have 105 info logs, 9 warning logs, and 4 error logs. Also 105 requests now in. We have 12 failed requests. So you see we are now in 1 minute and 1 minute and 50 seconds, and we already get the first data in, right? So that is really awesome and quick. And now also the services are detected. Schnitzel frontend, Schnitzel order. So you see in real time how your data comes in, and you would also have like direct links here to Dynatrace. We'll wait a little bit more. Also here, if we look up again, we have like, you see, you can choose AWS Cloud Service or Azure Cloud or GCP, and it will all work the same way as we have the local one, and you'll see your watch data coming in that way. So, and we now have the 4 services coming, having in here, and in here, you now also see the relationships. So this is really the traces, the smart scripting that shows you, okay, which service is calling which one. So let's now go back to the QuickStart app. Since we see you can either use this link or just go back where we started from, and we reload the screen. And voila, you see all the services that we just onboarded are already in. Just for you, again, we are in now 3 minutes, 13 seconds, and you have all the information here. You have like the services of the Python app that we onboarded. You see like where are the errors happening on the front and on the order Schnitzel. You see like the metrics coming in, the response time metrics, the failure rate, and most important, the findings. What are my top failed requests, top error logs, slowest endpoint, most outbound calls, top warning logs, top info logs, and so on. And it's really about like, we want to have you one click to get to answers, right? So for example, let's look at the most outbound calls. We just click there, and you can see here, cool, the order, the front end, the delivery, all those are hit, how much time is, and also what is the error here. And you also have this. So it's like context everywhere. You can also go there from your chart. So let's say, oh, you're interested in this failed request here. You just go to failed request, show traces, and it would then just open for you the failed traces, and you can look at the failed traces, why it happened. Oh, so here we have the failed traces. You also have the list of all the failed traces, and it also tells you order was not confirmed, validation rejected by a validation layer, and so on. And you also have all this metadata here, and go to services and so on. And you see it's really easy navigation. It's no reloading here, so it's really nice. You can also like filter down by specific services to like, oh, what's just happening with the Schnitzel, and to also get like here, oh, there's a Schnitzel order, estimated delivery 36 minutes, but also an error with validation error. So this is really awesome to get like the data you have in here and see it, no matter if you have it then on your development environment or your production environment, you can get those in and see them, right? And for a next step, you can also go and dig deeper with your data, right? So you can view ready-made dashboards, or you can also create your own new dashboard. And also here we enhance the experience. It's now super quick, one click. And we don't present you an empty dashboard, but we already present you a dashboard with some pre-auto-generated tiles to get you started even quicker. So you see, that's from the services we onboarded. The names are here. The logs count is here, the logs is here, and you can also easily expand it. Let's switch back here. For example, we have here a sample DQL command to show you how easy it is. So it's like fetch logs, filter content, payment. We copy this. I go back to the dashboard. I just say add a new tile with DQL. I paste this DQL, fetch logs, filter content, run it. And you see already here you have all your data, all your raw data. So you can really access all the data you onboarded. You can access the way you want, right? We can provide you an opinionated way with our QuickStart app, but you are also in the hands of your data and can do whatever you want to do there. Of course, that's really awesome to have your data in Dynatrace, have it prepared, have like the findings there. But what you can also do, you can access the data actually where you want to access them. So we provide you a Dynatrace MCP, skill files, own dtctl CLI. So that's like similar to kubectl, which you probably all of you know. And you can also access your data with this command line easily, and also IDE plugins for doing live debugging and so on. But yeah, so let's see. If you click like install, you also get directly, you don't get to like a documentation page and need to read through many things. You really get right to the marketplace item here and could click install here. But let's now, so I already installed it, of course, everything. And let's now see how you can also access your data in your environment. So I'm here and let's use the dtctl command that I just talked about. I'm here on the terminal. I just paste this here, dtctl query, fetch logs, filter log level error, sort by timestamp file, and show me the last 10 one. So I execute that, and you see within seconds, we get really the information here. And you can, of course, also use the same thing for your agents to automatically the agent get those information back. If, for example, something on a deployment failed, the agent can pull this information and think about, hey, what's actually needs to be done. All right, so this was using it by yourself on the terminal, right? But of course, we also have Claude Code here, for example, and we tell him to actually do the same. So we say, show me the 10 latest error logs for my project on the environment that we have, and use the dtctl skill by it. So this also now just checks like, hey, where I'm connected to. It's checking even with dtctl, hey, am I in the right context? Am I connected to the right environment that you are monitoring? And then also querying the logs. So you can see here, it's dtctl config current context. So it figures out it's good. The context already points to the right environment that I want to check. And now it's actually doing the query. And you see, here I didn't even have to know the DQL query. It's really by itself figuring out through the skill file what's the right query, and doing query. It runs this dtctl query fetch command and already gives us here the feedback here, the 10 latest error logs, also putting it nicely in a table here. Also some from the OTLP exporter, and also showing you key patterns investigated. For example, the kitchen capacity exceeded a couple of times. We also have database deadlocks, payment gateway timeout. So it's really bringing all the insights right where you usually work at, right? So that's really great. Let's then go also back to our environment again. So also you have some insights on how much of the different capabilities you use. And of course, you can go even further with popular integrations here. We have 750 plus of them. Here are some of the most important ones. For example, GitHub, right? So you can integrate this automation into your GitHub page. You can, like, based on errors that happen, create GitHub pull requests automatically out of Dynatrace and have them shown to your developers. Or Jira integration or Slack integration, also get notified if something goes down with your system to really get it where you work in your Slack, these notifications, and jump back and see this directly. You can also get the same findings here. So I click Show Findings. And you can see it's now trying to find the same findings that we see here, right? So we'll show in a second that it's using the skill files to really know so out of this prompt that I got, how do I really get like the right queries, find you the right findings? So it's doing some pre-populated queries here to figure out how to best query those things. And then in a second, you'll see the different finding queries coming up that will also provide us with those findings. And what is really nice here is, for example, you can then see actually what's happening underneath the hood, right? So here, for example, we are looking for the findings of the failed requests and so on. And you can really see hey, what's actually the data request behind it? And you can see now that we have all those infos getting here. Hey, what happened? We have the top failed requests again, the top error logs, and so on. And also some key observations hey, what did I find out? So the Schnitzel order service is failing with the 500, a warning that the kitchen capacity exceeded, and also suggested follow-up actions check your auto-scaling, right? And so you see it was super, super quick to get your data in, right? It was not you guessing, okay, well, now the data is in, where do I find the data? So I really see the data right here. And it's also telling you exactly what are the next steps that you can do to access your data somewhere else, or actually do automation with your data, or use the data with your agents that they can automatically react to problems that come up. And yeah, so this is the new QuickStart app, and I would be really happy if I see you using it and also giving feedback on that.
That's really cool. Couple of questions. One, obviously, how do people get access to this? What do they need to do? When is it available?
Yeah. So the GA will be on the 21st of July, right? And especially if you start a free trial, you will get directly directed to this QuickStart app. If you're already an existing customer, you can find under the apps, you just open apps and you can click on QuickStart and also see it there.
Cool. I'll make sure that all of the links to dtctl and all of the agent skills and all of that stuff that you showed in Claude are in the video description. I did have one other question, which is the DT Wiz. Do you need to leave that running as your app is running? Is that the sort of auto-instrumentation piece? Because I looked at the code, your Schnitzel code, and it didn't have any instrumentation. So the DT Wiz is basically wrapping everything.
Exactly, it's wrapping everything. So it was really pure. There was no Dynatrace installed before on my machine in that regard. So it really figured out that's the project. It did all the auto instrumentation without you needing to go to documentation. It even stopped the processes and restarted the processes for you to really get the data running. So that's all taken care of by the DT Wiz. And that's the nice thing, in the past you had these UI wizards where it's step by step, go through, go here, go there, do this, go back, and you're switching all the time and taking you sometimes then even an hour to get everything right? And that's exactly where we touched into the make it super easy, super simple, and we are extending on the go all the time. So supporting more technologies to get your loved technologies into the easy way of onboarding as well.
Really cool stuff. I suppose that's it. Go try it out. Go experiment, and as Dieter says, give him some feedback, and we'll watch the YouTube comments as well, and we'll make sure to pass any feedback back to you. Really good stuff. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you very much, and also looking forward to the feedback and all the great usage of it. Thanks.
Cool. See you, everyone. Bye.
Bye. See ya.